What's up, everybody? This is the Gaming VUE episode something of our podcast. And we took it to ourselves. I think this week we're going to discuss and we're going to explain what is Monster Hunter. So that you guys can understand what we went crazy over a couple weeks ago at E3 when they announced that Monster Hunter World will be coming to PlayStation and Xbox and later on PC.
It's Monster Hunter!
Bro, this is
Monster Hunter!
And why we flipped our brains. So we're going to go into the history of Monster Hunter. We're going to discuss all the games they've had. They've had a couple of games on different systems. What we like about it, what we don't like about it, not very much. And why you should be as excited for this game as we are. Well, as me and Jonathan are. Juan's going to try to berate us with questions so that he can up his excitement as well. Sound good?
Are you asking us, or you're talking to the
internet?
The black void? Yeah,
the light.
the black void is the internet.
I'm talking to everybody, but also you guys.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I won't make it easy.
That's fine. Well, all right. So first off, let's just explain what type of game it is. It first came out in 2004 for PlayStation. It's an action RPG. It doesn't really have the traditional RPG elements though. But I guess they are correct in saying that it is an action RPG because there are things like armor and weapons that have varying damage and varying effects and stuff like that. Let me know when you have a question, Jonathan or Juan, and we'll address that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I never played, at least I don't think any of you guys have either, the PlayStation 2 version of the game in 2004. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I saw it at GameStop to purchase when it first came out on PSP, but I've never actually played it.
Okay. So, and that's kind of what most people, especially in North America, kind of felt. Like, oh, what's this game? Oh, all right. It was always good, but it never really sold much in America or actually worldwide. It never picked up. But for those few who did pick it up, it was probably one of those things that's like, why is nobody playing this game? It's freaking amazing. And it's mega popular in Japan. So... 2004. So the first edition we got our hands on was on the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, when that first thing came out.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 2000. That was 2004 too, when they came out with Monster Hunter Freedom, which was basically Monster Hunter, but an advanced version. So they called it Monster Hunter Freedom on the PlayStation Portable, and that's when we sunk our teeth in and sucked it dry.
I know we did.
we eat so many people there, but okay.
Huh? What?
I say we eat so many people. Okay.
Well, did you have it? Did you have it, one or no?
I had it with you guys. I wasn't that crazy about it. I played it just to play it with you guys, and it was fun. It's just like I would get lost because first of all, I only played it when we were together, and you guys used to play it by yourselves. So when we used to hook up to play with it, because it was LAN party time. You guys were so ahead of me. I was lost. We would fight anything, and you guys would kill it before I even got a chance to hit it. So, kind of got boring for me.
So that's basically what the game is. So everyone's familiar with what a kaiju is now because of Pacific Rim. Kaiju is basically just a monster in Japanese culture, and the game is you're a hunter. You're basically nameless. You create your own name and everything like that, and create your character. And you go off on missions from a village that was attacked by a monster, and you have to go hunt it. But it's mission-based, so you don't just hunt that monster. You hunt tons of monsters. You gather resources. You're always put into this world for an hour to do whatever the mission states. And so that's... and that's how you progress through the game. You fight a monster, you carve it after you kill it, or you get things from it if you capture it, and that's how you create your armor and weapons. It's really, really cool, and that's why I say it's not really like a traditional RPG, because you don't technically level up with XP. You have to craft better armors and better weapons as you progress through the game. So, and obviously on the PlayStation, you had ad hoc mode where you could play 4 players if you're all together in the same room, like we used to be. Ad hoc. That's what it was
ad
called.
hoc.
Same thing. Whatever. GIF, GIF.
Bethesda.
GIF, same thing. But that's that's the majority of the time we spend playing that game would be sitting around Jonathan's room, sweating to death, in our underwear, playing the crap out of that game.
No, I'm gonna say for the
underwear. We were never in our underwears.
When Cassiano and Jesamir got involved, that's when the underwear came out.
They're the only two crazy enough
Oh.
to do that. I was fully clothed, Dave, and looking the other way, facing a wall.
But yeah, so if you didn't play it by yourself, then yeah, you would get farther, ahead. And if someone came on later on, it would be, I can see how you'd feel that way. One, like we're so far advanced.
Borderlands type of deal.
Yeah, almost every game is like that nowadays. If you spend time in a single player, you're going to get ahead of everybody else. And I can see it is a little bit like, well, I don't want to play it anymore. But
yeah. But I don't know how Juan couldn't enjoy it on his own. Like there'd always be that rush. Like when I did the outside missions, because there isn't a multiplayer session where y'all get into a lobby, and then there's the outside missions, like a single player. And the village elder would hand you missions, and it'd always be mission after, and each mission was just harder and harder monsters.
Right.
They even had
to me, the game shines more when it's co-op. It doesn't shine for me when it's single player, because when it's co-op, you actually work as a team. By yourself, it sucks if you don't know or you don't learn the patterns or whatever it is, the monster you're fighting. It gets hard, and then when you die so many times, like I have, it just becomes a little frustrating and kind of a turn down for me.
So that's actually why it didn't pick up in America, is because the learning curve was very high. I don't think it was that hard to pick up, and the single player was revamped in Monster Hunter Freedom 2 and in later versions of the game, where it was more clear like the first 5 missions in Freedom 2 for single players were all basically just training missions, telling you what to do, what items to use, how to get those items. So it kind of held your hand a little bit after that point. But that's the basic reason why it didn't pick up, because
go kill this thing and hopefully you'll survive.
Well, I mean, but honestly, it wasn't too hard to me. And I'm glad that they've already announced that Monster Hunter World, they're not going to make it quote-unquote accessible for the dumb generation to pick up. They're going to keep it at the same difficulty, because that's what really makes that game fun.
Yeah, it's the challenge. It's you're actually in a survival hunt, Think of it as, well, I wouldn't say Hunger Games, but it's a survival. You're out there in the field, and that's why I like it. It's hard, but I like the challenge. And then once you get used to the routine, you have to be observant with the monsters. The monsters, you know what type of move or attack they're going to do based on their body movement, their body language.
Right. You almost have to spend the first 5 minutes fighting them, just watching. Yeah. And that was one of the ingenious things about the game. There's no life bars except for your own. The monsters, you have to really gauge on where their life is by, 1, how much damage you can see on them, and 2, how they're moving around. If they start to limp, it's close. If they start running away, they're getting close to dying. And that, I think, is great. I love that side of it. It doesn't hold your hand at all.
Yeah.
There's no tapping the X button for a 16-hit combo here.
Jesus
well, I don't know about you, Matt, but the biggest thing to me that got me hooked was the armor sets. When you would defeat a monster, you go to the village blacksmith, and you see what new armors after defeating a new monster will provide entire new sets of armors and weapons that just look insane. And then when you put them all together, it looked awesome, and each armor set would give you a certain action depending on the monster.
Right, and not only that, it would open, so like you can craft armor and weapons, but then it would open more tiers of armor and weapons that you could purchase too, that were basic like knight armors and stuff like that. I mean, all of the armors looked awesome except for the Kieran armor. I think that was the worst one.
The one that make you look like a gay horse.
Yeah, like you're going to Sing YMCA together with a bunch of people. I'll put a picture of it up. But yeah, that was probably the worst armor. But yeah, some of the armors were insane. And so obviously it's a lot better when you have friends to play with, just because it does become so tactical. There's so many things you can do. And then, you know, the monsters in the game. I mean, let's talk about the monsters. Every one of them is original. Every one of them is unique. Even some of the ones that look kind of similar, like the Yunkaku and the young Garuga, have totally different tactics, have totally different abilities and powers and everything like that. The monsters were really awesome in the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember that each monster had a certain like
Weakness.
hardness to their armor.
Yeah.
The weakness and hardness. Like the Yangaruga had a super thick
Beak, right?
No, like the entire body. Like especially in certain
Oh,
areas.
that's right. Yeah, you'd always bounce off.
You'd always bounce off, so you cannot fight that that dinosaur with that monster without the sharpness. A weapon that had at least
Red. Wow, white sharpness, yeah.
Yeah, because it would go like white, the highest in sharpness, and like I think it was blue, green,
Yellow,
and red.
Yeah, the standard loot colors were for sharpness in this game, and that's the cool thing. Like your sword would deteriorate sharpness. You'd have to find whetstones, or if you brung them with you and sharpen your sword. I mean, there was just so many things you can do in the game. You can bring bombs, traps, flash bombs, sound bombs, like because there's some monsters that go underground. Like the game is just full.
Diablo.
It's Diablos is insane. The game is just full of things to do, and what was a shame that nobody picked this game up in America is that the versions we got in America were always better than the versions they released in Japan.
Yeah, they come out.
I heard they were
like
dumbed down.
No.
They would come out so much after they had time to add stuff, more dinosaurs,
Right.
and armors.
Because every time the game would come out like 6 months before the US version, and so they had all that time to throw in more monsters. So every version except for the Wii version, the garbage one, had way more things to do. Had like arenas, more downloadable content for free, just tons more monsters, and it was way more polished in the Japanese version. So for those of us who, you guys who didn't pick up the American versions, really missed out on some great games.
I think that Monster Hunter would be perfect for people that play Dark Souls games, because those games are very tactical, and you gotta think twice about what the enemies are doing. So if anybody that plays Dark Souls, I think they would fit in to Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I would say
don't you
somewhat. It's not as difficult as Dark Souls. It's a lot faster. I think the people that are really committed to Dark Souls like that slow-paced, I don't mind attacking for the next 10 minutes until I have my window, that type of gameplay. And I think they would like Monster Hunter, but I think they would excel at it because it's just not as difficult as Dark Souls is. I mean, it's sort of the same type of fantasy with big monsters and stuff like that, so they would like that aspect of it.
So if you guys would recommend this game to anybody that has never played it, what game would you guys
Compare it to?
Compare it to? Yeah, because I mean, it's not that many games like it, but it's like a survival hunting type of game, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, besides killing the monsters, you gotta kill animals to get meat, cook the meat. You gotta fish, so you can get some fish. You gotta mine, so you can get wet rocks and stuff like that.
So I would say that Monster Hunter is basically a combination of Ark Survival Evolved, Dragon's Dogma, if you guys haven't heard of that one, RPG, and I had another one right on the tip of my tongue. But Ark Survival Evolved for the survival aspects, Dragon's Dogma. If Dragon's Dogma was co-op, it would pretty much almost be Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
What's another one? There was another game.
I don't know. For me, it's hard because I think Monster Hunter was the first of its kind, and then it influenced all these other games because Dragon's Dogma and Ark came out well after Monster Hunter did.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the only reason why we even got into Ark, is because it reminded us of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but if you had to explain to somebody why should they pick this game up and play it, what would it be?
I don't know. There's so many words. Where do I start? This game is like the perfect game. It's awesome. I don't know.
It's not for everybody, so it's not perfect.
Well, I think it is
I'm
for
just saying.
everybody. Why do you say it's not for everybody?
Because some people won't like the monotonous of just like trying to, do all the stuff that you guys like. So, different strokes for everybody. It's
All
not
right,
gonna
well,
just be perfect.
I don't
'Cause
think
you
the
guys
game.
say
I don't
it.
think the game is monotonous at all.
No, yeah. I think
Every hunt is different. Yeah, I mean, your loadout can be different. The way you take the monsters down can be different. Everything is different. It's not monotonous at all.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, I think some people won't like it as much as you guys will. So, you guys calling it perfect. I mean, it's a
Well, it's,
more
but
of a
I'm
it's more
trying
of
to.
opinion.
But obviously it's an opinion. But I really don't think, and obviously I haven't played World yet, so who knows, if that game's going to be broken. But I highly doubt it because the guys at Capcom who are developing it are the ones that developed every one of them, and I can't find something wrong with Monster Hunter, Freedom 2, and Unite. Even Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which was on a horrible system, was awesome.
So let's say you guys are trying to pitch this game to a first-person player, like a Halo player or a Call of Duty player.
Well,
What would you tell them?
There's nothing we can do there because that's
Yeah, if that's all they want to play,
Yeah,
is
but what kind
first-person
of suggestion
shooters.
you would tell them? Hey, try this game out because of this. That might entice them.
I would say stop being an idiot and broaden your horizons and play more than
What
just
the
one
heck?
type of video game.
I was gonna say the same exact crap. What the heck? I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say stop being an idiot and get the game because it's awesome. But
Yeah, like you can't. I mean, that's if you're just someone who likes first-person shooters and that's it. I mean, there's nothing I can say to you. That's all you want to play. That's fine, But
like
I don't see why you wouldn't want to broaden your horizons and play all types of games.
yeah. So it's like, it's not really. I don't think it's a really fair question just because like you can say that about any game. Everybody has their own pros and likes and dislikes. So I can't really pitch a game they don't like to them. Trying to convince them if they don't like it. Like it's like you trying to convince me about buying Marvel's Capcom Infinite. No matter what you say, I'm like, no, it's garbage. I don't want it.
And that's just because he doesn't play fighting games.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know.
So
it's
that's a bad question.
I was asking a question of like if you guys could pitch it to somebody.
Well, like what we just said.
If anything, I can just tell him, you should try Zero. He's pretty good. Just because I know he likes Zero.
No,
but it's
it's
still
still a
not
fighting game. Oh, the other game I was thinking of that it's kind of like, or that is that one game from Valve that nobody bought and now is free to play. Evolve. Yeah. Sort of similar in the sense that you have to team up to take down a big monster.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good.
but other
I just
than
wanna
that,
put this on the record that E3 trailer did not put Monster Hunter like the potential for justice. Like it was such like a teaser. Like it looked like a tutorial mission. Like
well, yeah,
people might see that and be like, oh, it doesn't look that over, But if they see the in-depthness, like the dinosaurs, how how hard they freaking become, like how they look, like
yeah, and
they didn't put the justice in me. Plus, it wasn't like really any multiplayer. They showed a little bit in E3, but it was very minimal.
so yeah, let's just go into that a little bit because you're right, Jonathan. And with the 23 minutes of single player gameplay that they just released as well, it was really that mission that they showed was a really early mission because the armor that the hunter was wearing was the hunter armor, which is the first set of armor that you start off the game with. You don't even have to do anything to get that armor. Yeah, guys, this game is so the game is so much more in depth than what they've showed there because that's how it really introduces you to the game. And then when you get missions like you got to take down the Rathian or you got to take down the Gold Rathian, and then those are just the regular monsters in the game, and we're not even talking about the Elder monsters, the Elder Dragons, which are like ridiculous. I mean, screen filling, gigantic. I mean, you're riding on the back of them forever. Like, there's too much. I'm getting too excited already.
Yeah,
It's like you're about to have an orgasm.
If they put if
watch
they bring the Fatalist back, oh my god.
Mind you, people, we put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game, and we can never beat one freaking dragon. No, like the
Elder dragon.
No, yeah, it's a fatalist. We beat all the other elder dragons. The Kashaw.
We did that on Shanglong, whatever that thing.
Leo,
The huge.
the Leo Shenlong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one by far. Remember we beat the Shengaorn, which is that huge crab.
Yeah, that was on the the Shengaoran, yeah. Yeah, so there's I mean, I would say we've put even more than hundreds and hundreds of hours into this game because we really only played it on PlayStation Portable and it only had 3 games. And like god, we just put too much into it. So
it's the type of game where I would lose my life into it. I don't mind cutting out socialistic events, and I would be locked in my room playing it, getting pounds and pounds and dying. But
it's basically our version of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
This is where somebody's mom burns the Xbox down.
Your dad smashes it. What other questions do you have? One.
All right, you guys want to explain the ranking, the hunters ranking in the game?
Yeah. So, single player, it'll put you into missions, and everything so far has been starred missions. So you have 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. I think it all the way goes up to 9-star missions. Obviously, they're the hardest. And so as you progress through the 1-star missions, then you'll have an urgent quest to take down one of the next tier monsters. Once you do that, then you'll open up the next star. And so that's how the single player is broken down. For multiplayer, I believe it's Hunter rank, which I think goes up to Hunter rank 7.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if it was 7 or 9. Something.
I think it might have been 9 as well, because Hunter rank 9, you can get the 9-star missions in multiplayer. And I mean, that was just absurdity. Like, they'd put you in a small arena and you'd have to fight freaking 2 Rajangs, which, if you guys don't know what that one is, I'll put a video of that dang thing.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Super like, it wasn't 2. They'd be like 4. Sometimes it'd be 4 monsters. And they weren't like the low quad. They were like the higher tier, like there's like the Silver Rathalos and like the what was the other one? The Nargacuga that was like the upscale, like the Azure Nargacuga.
Oh yeah.
It was like the hardened ones.
What was the last game you guys played? The second one, no?
No, the one for 3DS, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
But
I never touched that game, so how different is that from the PSP version?
So this is the great thing about Monster Hunter. Every game gets better. The monsters get better. The graphics have gotten better. The main, and each game has a main monster, obviously. So Monster Hunter Freedom and Freedom 2 was the Rathian. That's the one that's on the cover. For Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it was the Zinogre, which is like this lightning lion. It was awesome. And I think that was the main one for that game.
Yeah, I was scared.
It's not a final boss. It's just the one you'll fight frequently pretty early on, and then you go on to the Elder Dragons way later. And then, and you have a variety of weapons. That's why there's no way this game gets monotonous at all. You have so many different types. I think you have 14 weapons now that you can choose from to play with, long sword, great sword. In the trailer for the new game, he has a great sword, that big fat Buster blade.
The Final Fantasy one?
Yeah. But then you have the long sword, which looks like Sephiroth's sword, and then you have dual swords, sword and shield. Then you have bows, guns, gun lances, hunting horns, like the glaives, the switch axe. Like, there's so much awesomeness. With each one comes with different combos, different abilities, and different ways to attack.
Yeah, and I also want to emphasize on the point that's crucial. One, that you get an armor set of just one from one dinosaur. Don't mix and match, because it's not really a good to mix and match, because each piece does a certain attribute, and if once you need the complete armor. So you can master that attribute, and it will give you a perk in the game, so you can use.
Yeah, at least in the last one, how they did it was points. So this set of armor or this chest piece would give you damage +4, and so you needed to have like 16 points in damage to unlock the damage perk, which would boost your damage. And so you needed to have either a set of armor. You can mix and match as long as they all had that perk, but you know that if you continue to get that one set of armor for your helmet, your chest, your arms, your legs, your waist, and then you could have ring or earrings. That would boost out your thing. Yeah, the decoration. And now in Monster Hunter World, they introduced mantles, which is like you can throw over your armor as like the ghillie suit. One that's like sparkly, which attracts the monsters. And there's one other one. I think it was like just regular reinforced armor or something like that. So there's, just from what we've been talking about, and I'm sure we've left a lot out, there's so much in this game. $60 like doesn't do it like it's an amazing bargain for $60.
Yeah, it's a very simple game with a simple thing. Just go into the field and hunt a monster. But there's so many ways to go about it. That's what I love.
Right.
It's a challenge every time. Like once you think you got a good armor set that's strong, you get another tier with another mission with a new monster that he just murders you. He's like, I just spent all this, like now I gotta get another set. It's like it's awesome. It's like a loot system kind of, where you grind and get stuff, and then there's always something better.
Right, and it's not as much of a grind as some of these free-to-play games, because some of the items that are really rare to get, sometimes you won't get them after doing it like 10, 12 times, but at least fighting the monster is always unique in its own every time. Like there's always something it does differently, or there's if you wanted to go in this time using the bow and try to take it out from distance, like it's always fun to do it that way. And now that it's coming to real consoles, that's what I think we're most excited for, is that we don't have to sit together in the same room to play this game. We can play online. We can always pick it up and play with each other. It doesn't have to be, let's set up a time to go like the old school days, which was fun still. But, now it allows more people to play the game and with way better graphics.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sit in a sweaty room.
Exactly. In our underwear. Our whitey tighties.
You want to keep living that fantasy, go ahead, man.
Any more questions, Juan?
Nah, it's okay. We're getting to the time limit already anyways.
Why is the game so great? What would you think?
I would say if anybody has questions about this game, just put it in the comments. Matt and Jonathan will gladly talk to you guys about this game.
And, I'm trying to be fair about it. I know I'm really excited for it, but there really isn't much negative about the game in general. And I feel confident that these guys are going to deliver a solid, full game, not trying to ham it down with microtransactions, because none of the previous versions had it. There was so much DLC. I mean, you could download new quests all the time, new arenas. And so I really have confidence in this. I don't know which version of Capcom this is, but this is the good one.
Yeah. So, final question. Go ahead, Jonathan. No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, this is a question that I want to ask both of y'all at the end of the video. The podcast.
I just want to bring in the fact that in the single player there are kittens that go on missions with you, and they're like your allies.
The Palicos.
Yeah, but also I believe if there's just two of y'all in multiplayer, you can bring both of your kitties. But once there's a third person involved, there's no more kittens. And
now this was on the portable devices, so we already know that you're gonna have your Palico with you in Monster Hunter World. It looked like just one. So hopefully, with the power of the console, we'll be able to bring them with us on every mission, which would be insane. Because the kittens, they have different abilities and different specials that they do. Plus, there's a whole bunch of armor and weapons that you can craft for them as well.
Yeah, which you can see in that last 23-minute gameplay. You customized himself. He also customized armor for the kitten.
Right.
All right. So let me ask you guys something.
Yeah.
Seeing as personally, they've only shown that one 23-minute video. They teased it at the PlayStation 4 E3.
No, they showed. They have a different 23-minute video of the single player.
So there's two different videos. Right.
They do the same quest, but they're done differently, and they show a little bit more about the armor and the weapons and the camps in the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
So compare this. I know it's like not a fair comparison to compare them, but if you guys had to choose between this and Anthem, which one would you guys get?
I'll go first. Unfortunately, nobody knows what Anthem's gonna be. Okay, nobody knows what that game is gonna be. It looked awesome. Obviously, there was a lot of negativity that came out in the weeks following E3. But I will buy Monster Hunter World twice before I buy Anthem, just because I know what I'm getting with Monster Hunter. I've been waiting for it to be on consoles for 13 years. I know it's going to be a great game. Yeah, hands down, I would buy Monster Hunter.
I'm not even gonna wait for Jonathan.
Yeah,
There's like no point.
You already know the answer. It'd be Monster
It's like
Hunter 10 times before Anthem. Like,
It's like asking a crackhead, crackhead, what do you want, crack or weed?
So the problem, I mean,
there's so many shooter games and stuff like that that's already have something similar, and maybe not as good as Anthem, but some stuff similar in shooters.
yeah,
You know, and Monster Hunter is nothing I have that's even close. Maybe Ark, but you don't really slay. You don't really. I don't know how you don't get like the armor you get from like Dinosaur like you do in Monster Hunter. It's just Ark is more about building and conquering, more of a PvP. PvE gets you're just building and trying to do bosses, but it's nothing as in depth as Monster Hunter. So
right.
it wouldn't
Yeah,
even come close.
I'd have to see. I mean, there's nothing that Anthem can do to make me not want to get Monster Hunter, but I still have to see a lot from Anthem for me to want to get Anthem still, because like Jonathan said, I mean, it basically almost looked like a very 4K version of Warframe, which is not bad, but there's nothing that game can do to get me away from Monster Hunter. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. They have to show more. Like, no matter what they show, I'm still gonna get Monster Hunter over.
Is there a release date for it yet or no?
For Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
So early 2018. But if you look on Amazon and you go to pre-order it, it says March 31st. Now that's probably just a placeholding date, but it may be in the first 3 months, the first quarter of 2018. So that'll be amazing.
That's a weird placeholder though.
Well, Marvel versus Capcom, which has a release date for Xbox on Amazon, has a placeholding date of December 31st. So maybe it's just Amazon. I don't know what's going on with them.
That's weird. I'm just saying, like usually they pick like the beginning of a month or something like that. Don't they usually do that?
Nah, they release on Tuesdays, but it just depends. I'm hoping. And I feel like it's going to be first quarter 2018. So within the first quarter.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about the game itself? Like, what if we didn't cover something about what Monster Hunter really is?
I mean, in the world, they're actually letting you free roam, and that I want to get that to the people. That's not an open world. It is open world, but it's not like an open world like one big map that you just went everywhere. I think unless they changed it. But the PSP version, there was a village that you would teleport to, and that's where your home and the blacksmiths were. And then in the PSP version, you go to the village elder or the counter and online, and they send you out, and you load into a new map and area. And before, they'll separate it into sections and number it. And when you go into that area, it would load. But I think what they mean by new open world is that in each map you go to now, you won't be cut and it won't have to load like it did in the PSP. That one entire map with the monsters that will be free world.
Right, and that's what it is. There's still going to be a village that you go to after each mission. There's just not going to be loading in between sections. The map's still going to be numbered, but you won't have to go to a load screen when you go to a new area, because the quests are still timed. So you still are going to have an hour probably for each quest, and then after that quest is done, whether you fail it or you complete it, you'll go back to the village, and that's where you can craft, everything you need to, potions or whatever.
Yeah, it'll probably be like a tower, like in Destiny. I'm assuming where there's be a bunch of players, or maybe not be. I don't know.
I hope not. That's how they did the MMO one. I just hope it's your regular village, and then if you wanted to do an online clubhouse like we did in Freedom and Unite. Then you can, you go to the online hub, and that's where you invite your friends. You can all hang out there and do emotes.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be though.
Yeah.
You're saying, man, because
Yeah.
they said there's only gonna be 4 players on the map.
Right.
I hope it's that way. I'm just saying it was a possibility that they could have done it that way, which I would rather it
No.
be more.
Yeah, it's better the other way. I'm not into the MMO type thing. They have the MMO. It's out in Japan only. Mega popular. It's like the #1 played game over there. I'm just telling you guys, if we can get it over, I don't know if we were clear about everything. It is a great game. It's going to be a great game. It's fun, especially if you got friends that have it. You can do it together. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, there goes my life.
All right, so that's it for this week's episode podcast. I forgot what episode we're on, like 7 or 8 maybe.
I think
9.
9.
We're 9 or 10, yeah.
One of those. So we just wanted to explain what Monster Hunter is. It's basically a 4-player co-op monster hunting game with tactics and a bunch of variations, tons of weapons, a lot of customization. We're anxiously waiting the release date, and hopefully if there's a beta, maybe we can play that first mission. That will be great. Other things coming up for our channel, June 19th or July 19th, we'll have the beta for Destiny 2, and we're going to live stream a lot of that. So make sure you check out our channel for there.
Be prepared.
Be prepared for the hate.
Critical hate.
Critical hate, because that game looks bad. But that's it. Thanks you guys for watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Let us know what you think. Do you think you're going to pick up Monster Hunter? If you have any other questions, like Juan said, leave them down in the comments and we'll address them as best we can. But thanks you guys for watching.